Hello everybody, how you doing? My name is Adam Bergman, and in today's video we will be talking about the Hedera Hashgraph. We have a lot of interesting updates and a lot of rumors coming out of the Hedera camp. First and foremost, I will be talking about a breadcrumb connection between Sony, that's right, Sony, and Hedera Hashgraph, how Sony can possibly be the next governing council member on the Hedera governing council. I will show you a little clip of Liam Baird talking about what the importance of Dell and the importance of real transactions per second being done currently with tracking 20 billion different items on the Hedera Hashgraph. And then I wanted to show you the amazing transactions per second currently reaching not only on the mainnet, but there's a lot of rumblings that are happening on the testnet. For the longest time, the transactions per second goes up on the mainnet, but nothing's happening on testnet. All of a sudden on testnet, we have tens of millions of transactions which usually means somebody is getting ready from testing to actually putting it on the mainnet. Hopefully we're gonna get our second enterprise grade solution on the Hedera Hashgraph. Now the price of the Hedera Hashgraph has went down a little bit, it has retreated. It's trading right around that 8.8, 8.7 cents a Hedera. It retreated a little bit, and now we are currently on spot 32 of coin market cap. But for the most part, the rest of the crypto market just started catching up, and Hedera is not actually dropping. So for a lot of people that said, hey, I wish I got an opportunity for a little bit of a retreat, here is your opportunity to get into the Hedera Hashgraph. I'm gonna go over to my desk in just a moment to show you a bunch of really cool articles, really cool breadcrumbs, some Twitter posts, and some really cool interviews. Before I go any further, I do have a link to my Discord down below. The Discord is 100% free. We don't just talk about cryptocurrency, we also talk about stocks, real estate, side hustles, and the economy. Of course, I also have a link to my store down below if you want to get some really cool Hedera merchandise, including mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and sweatshirts. With that said, please join me over by my desk for another really dope ass video. If you go to the hederatransactions.com, this is going to show you how much transactions we have on the mainnet. We currently have 587 transactions per second. We have a nearly 4.2 billion transactions. 4.2 billion transactions. Literally a month ago, it was 2 billion transactions. And as you can see on the testnet, even though it says 5 transactions per second right now, you have this really dope number of 65 million. Now let's go over to Dragonglass. And if you guys want some type of links to everything that I'm showing you, I can leave a link in the description or just ask me in the comments to leave it to you so you can track the transactions of Hedera yourself. This in Dragonglass also tracks all the transactions of Hedera. This is the transaction value right here. Let's click on this. This is the transaction volume, transactions per second, total transactions over the last year. As you can see, it was very steady, where we have like 78 million, so on and so forth. And all of a sudden in January, we have a massive 790 million. And in February, it's not slowing down with a massive 800 million. But what I really want to show you is, now, if you go over to Twitter, Zepsi put this out. Shout out to Zepsi. Shout out to the H-Bar Investor. As you can see, at one point, we were reaching over 5,000 transactions per second. As you have a mainnet or a testnet, the transactions go up. It's tracking total transactions, but it's also tracking your transactions per second. So although we now are up to a certain amount of transactions on testnet, and we're only doing around 5 to 10 transactions per second, at one point, we were rocking over 5,000 transactions per second, actually hitting over 6,000 transactions per second on the testnet. And this is probably a precursor for something that's coming really big to the mainnet. This is another Twitter social influencer for Hedera. Shout out to Quantech. Definitely very helpful. And they're putting the breadcrumbs together for the Hedera Hashgraph, and they're finding connections between Sony and Hedera. A patent by Sony filed one day after the Hedera Hashgraph launch event that took place at the PlayStation Theater in New York City mentioned Hashgraph. This was in 2018, right when Hedera was just being launched. And if you click on the patent, it literally says, blocks, a DAG ledger may sometimes be referred to as a web, a tangle, or a hash graph. Rumor is Sony will eventually have a seat at the Hedera Governing Council member. The Hedera account only follows Governing Council organizations, and the Governing Council account is now following Sony. Whether you guys want to read a lot into this or whether you don't want to read a lot into this, as you know, Web 2 investigators, the Twitter investigators, the YouTubers, the TikTokers, we do a really, really good job finding a lot of information. And we put 2 and 2 together. So it looks like there's at least some reason for looking into it a little further that Sony might actually be joining the Hedera Governing Council. And this is a really, really big thing. People don't understand how big the Hedera Governing Council members are to the prosperous nature of Hedera Hashgraph. Just like Hedera Hashgraph helps the Governing Council members build up their businesses. And this is an interview that Dr. Lehman-Baird did today, where he speaks a little bit about the real transactions that are currently happening on the Hedera Hashgraph. I'm going to play you a quick 1-minute clip. This was an interview that was done by Crypto Coin Show. You guys should definitely check them out. I'm going to play you one small clip that I think everybody should be listening to.
Attention and awareness back on projects, and it looks like your team hasn't really stopped with working hard and also making big partnerships and stuff. Can you talk about some of the recent news? I think you know what I'm talking about. I've seen across news outlets all over that Hedera is making big partnerships and continuing to grow.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. It's all coming as a flood, and it's because of years of hard work, but now we're just seeing amazing things. So Dell just joined us. A good portion of the entire internet runs on Dell equipment. And so everyone knows who Dell is. They just joined, and they're very interested in their edge things. So
Dell literally said that they want to build decentralized applications on the Hedera Hashgraph. This is as per them quoting on a news article. So Dell does a lot more things than just computers. People don't realize this, and they have been losing market share in the computer department, so they need to keep innovating. And they're going to use Hedera Hashgraph in order to innovate. So just please keep that in mind.
They have equipment in retailers and on oil rigs and things. They have equipment at the edge, and they're very interested in tracking and recording and understanding and being able to optimize things at the edge, which is I'm excited about. This is a great use case. But then you have people like Atma that have already deployed it. So right now we have 500 transactions every second coming from Atma, which is just mind-boggling. This is a project from Avery Dennison, and they do stickers like barcodes and RFID stickers, and they track things. They track 20 billion things. It blows my mind. They're tracking 20 billion things, and this is in apparel, it's in food, it's in all mutably on the ledger. The ledger, the Hashgraph that Hedera runs, is keeping track of 500 new things every second. And this is stored immutably. You can search it. It has
500 things per second. People don't realize those transactions per second. We're hitting 600 transactions per second, 500 transactions per second, so on and so forth. That is literally every transaction is us tracking something. Besides for the Avery Dennison that he's talking about, we only really have 10 transactions per second or so. So these transactions that we're getting, which are useful and are real transactions, is absolutely massive if you want to talk about proportions. I'm super excited about it.
A timestamp, it's like a notary public service. A timestamp that says this is what the entire ledger agreed on, and is a cryptographic proof that this is what the entire ledger agreed on. We're doing 500 a second. So if you go to realtps.net, you can see the real TPS, and it's real TPS. When people first saw that, they said, oh, you must be cheating and just talking about your consensus or something, internal stuff. No, it's real. It's real users from real customers, real TPS doing real business applications. Fascinating.
Wow.
You heard it there, folks. Dr. Lehman-Baird. It's real transactions. It's not cheating transactions. It's real application being done by real businesses for real business purposes. A lot of people like to hate on Hedera, make fun of them, but at the end of the day, we have an actual business using Hedera for an actual business use case, and it's being done right before your eyes, and everything's being documented. It's great. And hopefully Dell is going to propel this next. Hopefully the news about Sony, and by the way, there's a lot more breadcrumbs about Sony. If you want me to make a whole different video on that, I could. It's not just those 2 things that I mentioned. There's a lot more. Hopefully Sony comes on board and does gaming, right? DeFi gaming, Web3 gaming, who knows? The next Governing Council member meeting is going to be in Google headquarters. That's really big. in Palo Alto, I mean, that's huge. That's not a small thing. That's a lot of dedication, and that's a lot of commitment from Google, who's the largest governing council member. Actually, they're as big as everybody else put together, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, I am investing in Google. You guys can check that out on my stock channel. Shout out to Google. Guys, at the end of the day, Hedera Hashgraph is an absolute beast. Everybody asked for a pullback. Here goes your opportunity to get more Hedera Hashgraph. I keep adding to my Hedera Hashgraph position. Besides for my personal position, I'm also adding to my $50 DCA position as well. Hedera Hashgraph is an absolute monster. I love being in this community. I love being in this project. And before you go any further, please click on this video down below for more entertainment, education, and more useful knowledge when it comes to cryptocurrency. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the Hedera Hashgraph. Thank you and have a great day.